This I don't even know how to start this. This garden tour is going to be full of spoilers. Need to do it though, because so much has happened between the last garden tour, March, where there's basically nothing going on out here, and now it's April, and there's so much happening. So much has happened, but not all of those videos have come out yet. We had a lot of rain in April, which is fantastic. And oh, hey, what's up, garden friends? Jeff here. How's everybody doing well? I'm great. Yeah, lots of rain in April, which was nice. Needed that. We've had some springs where we didn't get much precipitation. And because of that, I thought, well, you know what I should do? I'll just film ahead. So I think it was the first or second week of April. We'll say the second and a half week of April into this last week. I just went ahead and filmed basically nonstop everything that was going on out here, so that my long vlogs that y'all always say you love the long videos. I don't always love making them, but everybody seems to enjoy the longer videos. Those Saturday videos require a lot of time to get done. So I got those done. I had 2.5 of those filmed, but only one of those has been out. So there's going to be so many spoilers. There's going to be a lot that's going to be in this video that will be in videos to come. I think that what I'm going to do to handle that is I'm just not going to acknowledge certain things and just let it be what it is and talk about what happened at March and just not acknowledge anything else. March and April, that is. I mean, we'll get to it in a couple weeks. Okay, so yeah, I've moved some of the tropicals out. It's almost May. There's more frost in the forecast. Why would I have not moved them out? But we'll talk about all that at the time when those videos come out. Let me start with these roses. Aren't they? Can you even see them? They're like neon. Look at how fluorescent they are. I am in love with these. They're a little bit more orange than I was hoping. I was hoping they'd be more coral. You can see they fade out into a nice pinkish hue. I don't know, it's not the best shade of pink because it's really just a flower head that's dying off, but you get what I'm saying, right? You get some different colors on it. This one is called Sweet Orange Rose. It's a grandiflora. Got these from Lowe's a month or so ago, and they sat in bud for a long time. Been watering them, and they opened up, and it's just massive, huge. I haven't sniffed them yet. Here, sniff it. Oh yeah, that smells good. Nice classic rose smell. Have 2 of those out here. So those are something nobody's been updated on. So those are things we can talk about. Look at them. Here's another one. You can see there's a lot of variation in the petals too. Like that other plant, I think they were slightly more of a corally pink, whereas this one got more of a solid orange on them. So that's not necessarily a good thing. You want consistency with your plants, but I think it's also a difference in lighting. This one over here is getting afternoon sun. That other one back there is morning sun. These, aren't they amazing? Just fantastic. I am crazy about these. This video should have been out by the time, yeah, y'all have seen about these. Orange Fire Up Mandevilla. The flowers are so frickin' nice. They're an orangey coral tone, a hint more of red now that things are warming up. When I brought these home, temperatures were cooler. They're more of a pinkish orange. I'm starting to see some more darker tones in there, which I don't mind, but I was hoping to say more like this, but that's okay. What I also really like about it is just the color of the petals of the buds when they're wrapped up. Really great color. Pond update. Here it is. Not a lot to report on yet. He saw that I was standing over here. This is Turbo's favorite spot in the yard. This is where Turbo is at all times now. He loves to come out here and watch his fish, and he's being a very sweet, gentle boy with them. They come up to the surface to eat their food, and he just watches them. He's had plenty of opportunities to snatch them up. He's not doing it, right? He's not going to do that because we don't need our friends. That would be in poor taste. Hibiscus, look at that. Mellow yellow, looking great. Hopefully the lighting's okay. I saw there was overcast and thought, let's go ahead and film this video, because when it's too sunny, that actually doesn't work out for the videos, but it might be a little bit too dark. Whatever the case, pressing for it. Dianthus, all the Dianthus have been doing really, really well. I haven't been deadheading them, which I know that I should, but I have not, and they have just kept on going. Kind of surprising. Usually I need to stay on top of deadheading them. They'd be looking better if I did deadheading, but it's fine. The willow planter back here, had a few of these willow planters. Still looking great, aren't they? I think that they look fantastic. The violas have had to do some stretching to get out from underneath the canopy of the pussy willow that's up there, but that's okay. I also have not been deadheading the African daisies, but you know, that's just the way things go. We're moving on to summer things now. There's a lot of lettuce planted in the back here, and I really like how that looked. It filled it out very nicely. Just added a good backdrop for everything. So look at these violas. It'd be a long video if I focus on every viola and pansy in the backyard. That's a pansy, by the way. It's not a viola. There are a lot. There's lots of them out here. The Poinsettias, haven't gotten that planted yet. So everything I did in the month of April and March was really focused on perennials and shrubbery. That's a good time to come outside and go, oh, look at all these holes that need to be filled. I would like to see more in these particular spots. When you can see that they're bare, you go, oh, could use some color out here. And that's something I've had to redo over the past several years and really slacked off on it the last probably 3 or 4 years. Because the yard used to get a lot of sun. We talk about this in so many garden tours. But the trees have grown. It's now more of a mature garden. And with that being the case, have to change up the plants that are out here. So a lot of the plants that were out here for full sun aren't here anymore. And instead of replanting and starting to grow things for the shade, what I did was I just fought it as much as I could and pushed the limits of things that wanted sun, and that just didn't work out. So, you know, the past few years I've been remembering, hey, get some evergreens in the ground, pick up your game with the shrubbery, because things are just so bare out here when the cannas and the bananas and things are all died down. So maybe we'll go through and look at everything that's been planted after I shut this off. Looks like I just set this up. This is the fertilizer system that runs through the garden hose. Looks like I need to put a new gasket on there. Not shocked by that. I feel like I have to change that gasket out a lot. One of the shrubs that I put back here, I'm pretty excited about. Screenplay holly. I could be wrong. Might just be my imagination, but I think this thing's already done some growing. Right? You see it? The new leaf tips. It's only been in the ground for about maybe 3 weeks at this point. And I think the video where I plant this up will have been the video that comes up before this one. Maybe. These are supposed to be really fast growers. That's why I grabbed it. A zone 7, 6B, 7A here on the line. You know, new zone maps and all those things. I'd find it hard to wear a 7, but hey, I'm going to try some zone 7 plants and see what happens. I've already been doing that for years. That's kind of how the whole channel started, was me growing things that are not supposed to grow in colder areas. There are some gingers that are coming up that I just started noticing a few days ago. Of course, the ones that are back closest to the house, looks like there's going to be a nice full clump this year. Look at all. These are Hedicium flaming torches. I believe those are the flaming torches. Some Slims orange coming up over here. These are all a red Musifolia canna that I'm going to probably remove this year. At least remove the bulk of them. The ones that are right back against the house, those can stay, but everything that's forward, I'm going to pull them. I don't like them anymore. It's too much. The spot ends up looking messy. They lean for the sun because they end up shading the ones in the back. It becomes a mess. So need to lift those and divide them. Something I am very excited about. Last year, planted is the camera working? I don't see anything happening. Okay, there we go. My screen froze up. That's never happened before. Pharaoh's Dream, Colocasia. I got this from Brian's Botanical last year, and I was so excited about it. I raved about it all summer long. And one of the things I loved about it was that they said that they think it's going to be a very hardy plant. So I said, all right, let's put it in the ground, see what happens, and look what's coming up. Look at that. Coming up before the Bikini Teenies. I haven't seen any of the Bikini Teenies popping up yet. They will. But, well, I don't know where. It's always a surprise. I didn't mulch the bananas this year. So that's why all you're seeing is just the one little banana stick over there. They're Baju bananas. They don't really need to be mulched here where I live. As long as they're near the house or something like that, you can mulch them. It'll maintain more pseudostem throughout the winter, and then you get a bigger plant in the springtime. But I'm going to be trying out some new varieties this year. So I wasn't focused on keeping the Bajus going. Been there, done that. And if I'm mulching them, I want it to be something a little bit more special. So those are probably all going to be going this year. Not probably. I have their replacements waiting to come out. So yeah, I don't know. Enjoy the banana stick while you can. There's some fun stuff going on in here. It's one of the reasons I'm on top of filming this tour. Technically, it's what's today? I think it's the 24th. The video won't be out for a few more days, but I need to get the ball moving. And I told myself, you got to stop doing stuff because it's going to make the garden tour seem really weird when none of those videos have come out. I don't know if this has come out yet, but that's a Rhode. It just got repotted. And I like it right there. The grass will come up and fill out the lower or upper half of that pot that's sticking out. Phyllostaches Niagara right here. Have that planted all the way back there. And it usually likes to do most of its growing over here, which is fine as long as it does it back there. I don't want doing it in the front. Oh, and the berry white hydrangeas, those are new. Planted up 4 of those. Here's one right here. They go about 6 to 8 feet, I believe. Have a really deep magenta bloom on them. It starts off white, ages to magenta. I put a sting arborvitae, don't care how you pronounce it, on each side of the gate here. They go about 18 to 24 inches wide, max, like 20 or 30 feet tall. So I thought that's going to be fun and weird. Looking forward to seeing those grow. Other berry white right over here. It popped up Buckeye in the ground. I had this one for a while, just didn't get into the ground. It's the Fort McNair Buckeye. They have really pretty flowers on them, more of a corrugated leaf than the native Buckeyes do. Isn't that neat? Look at that texture. Really cool leaf. Getting ready to do some things with some Nepidas, so that's why that one's sitting over there. I have some other things that you can't see yet. To work around things. Hostas, there's a whole Hosta mix-up. I went and purchased some of the Shadowlands, the Hudson Bay, which is one that I love. Hudson Bay and Love Song? No. Sound of Music. Those are some of my favorites of the newer Hostas that I've seen lately. And I thought I was buying 5 of the Hudson Bays. And I got home and it turned out I had 3 Hudson Bays and 2 Woo-La-Las. So I went ahead and I put 2 of those Hudson Bays over here. I think this is a good fit for them. Put about 24 inches in here. Those will fill out nicely. They'll be right above the pulmonarias, which are doing well. There's a mix-up with their color. We'll get back to that when I'm done explaining the mix-up with the hostas. So yeah, I popped 2 of those down there, and then I went ahead and put the 2 Woo-La-Las right here. I had an Empress Woo right here, and I wanted to get another Empress Woo to put over here. It needs to go back a little bit further, but needed to scoot it down that way. But I forgot to grab the other Empress Woo. So what I did was I moved the Empress Woo back there. It's in the background. You can't really see it quite yet. It'll get better to see it eventually behind those Hudson Bays. And I put the Empress Woos on each side of this, what was a path, and is going to be a pathway again fairly soon. You can see I've been slowly excavating where gravel and things have filled in this pathway. This whole area is kind of getting a revamp this year. One of the arbs that was in here died off. I'm trying to hide something that you're not supposed to see. You can see it someday, but not yet. Some of the arbs are starting to die off. So I'm going to be filling this area in with more perennials. Oh, ginger. Look. Hey, there we go. Gingerbread myoga. First one of the year coming up. I didn't mulch them this year. I said if they're going to survive, they better do it. Because I'm trying to cut back the amount of work I have to do in the fall. And there's no reason, if this is zone 7, even in 6B, in a well-drained spot, that they shouldn't come back. So good sign right there. I have some pots that I had stacked up nicely, and then, I guess life happened. Even happens to the pottery. So now there's an Empress Woo on each side of this space, and I think that they're too close together. These get massive. So I'm going to need to scoot this one back probably by another foot and take this one back by about probably another foot. Make sure there's still a path here, but I have the Sound of Music hostas coming in the mail. So I may end up doing something completely different over here. The main thing was I just want to get things in the ground so I don't have to constantly hand water all the containers. So this is where they will stay for now. And they'll be fine like that. Lamium. Looking nice. Some gallium over here. I planted a whole bunch of lamium and gallium around the yard this year. And I added a bamboo. This is a clumping bamboo. Here we go. It's a Fargacia. It's a rufa. Go about, it says 6 to 10 feet. They'll do that about high and wide. They have a fairly nice weeping habit. So you don't see the canes as much when they're fully mature. That's going to fill in this entire pocket right here. And I have another one to go back here in this corner where I finally got a hole dug. That ground back there, it's like cement. It's difficult to dig back there. I went at it last year with an 18-inch long drill bit and just poked tons and tons of holes. Probably 100 holes in that area. And eventually the soil loosened up enough that I was able to dig a small hole. Just small enough to stick one of these. So we're going to have the rufa right here, another rufa back there in the corner, and probably another one over here. Brought the coconut palm out in the bottom of its container, rusted out and fell on the ground. I have to do something about that. The Petasites, look at them. Looking fantastic. I love them. The variegated leaves on them. They're all going to be coming up fairly soon, though, because it's about time to start lifting this up and get the impatiens in the ground. I already have them. I'd like to get them planted. It's actually one of the reasons I wanted to go ahead and get this filmed. So it's been bugging me. I want to get that done. As I just said, it's easier to care for the things once they're in the ground. I don't want to have to keep watering things. I want things off the patio, so those will all be gone soon. Added another lamium over here. This is all new, except for this shrimp on the Barbie pulmonary. And then these are either Pinkaboo or Spot On. I forgot this was a shrimp in the Barbie. Forgot it was this one. I thought it was one of these. So when I bought those, I thought they were that. And that's why there's a mix-up over here. And I don't really care. I'm not bothered by it. If I can find the shrimp on the Barbie, I'll put it up there, put it there, and just surround the Pinkaboos, and we'll have a nice variation of color. The one thing about the Peticides, they're great. You gotta stay on top of them, though, because they will drown out the other plants. This is a noob, Sarcocappa, sweet and low. Nice evergreen shrub. This smell really nice. Looking forward to seeing what that looks like in front of the cobalt blue on those containers. The containers that now have new shrubs on them. These are the volcano cherry laurels, which I didn't mention when I got these in their video, that what's nice about these is that their new foliage comes out in a more of a coppery tone, which is really pretty. That's why it's called volcano. These are more hardy than the skip laurels. The skip laurels, they suck. I'm done with them. I'm gonna keep protecting them and everything, but I just don't see the point. The first batch I had did great until we had that, 10 days below 12 degrees Fahrenheit, like negative 12. It wasn't below 12, it was below negative 12, below negative 10 really, for about 10 days. That killed off that hedge. Replace it with these, and these just have not performed like the others have. These have not been anywhere near as cold hardy. I protected them, double bagged them when it dropped below 5, which I thought was being very generous. And there's still just all this brown and junk dying off on them. So I've been pruning on them. I give them all a nice dose of holly tone this spring and layered some compost on top of things. You're gonna be blowing and puffing every now and then because the gnats keep flying into my face. Despite doing all that, they don't look great. They're gonna flush out with more new growth. They already put out one push. They'll put out another push and they'll shed some of that brown. I'll go in and clean out some more brown stuff, but it's just not very attractive. I don't really know what else to do. There aren't a lot of evergreen hedges that can take the shade. This is a shady spot over here for my zone that also grow quickly and have a nice broad leaf to them. This is the only thing I can even think of, but there are other options moving forward, like those Rufa bamboos. That's a reason I'm planting 1, 2, 3, is because eventually I think there might be 1, 2, 3 in this hedge. I'll have to dig them and lift them and move them, but they make a nice screen. And I also have a row of yews behind here that were planted a few years ago. There's nothing to see with them right now. There's kids right over there jumping on their trampoline. I don't want to go over there right now, but let's see those at another time. Not much to look at just yet. The Japanese maple, isn't it just looking great? I love this in this container, though I do think I'm going to lift it and plant it back into the garden this year. It's been nice having it over here. It'll still be over, it'll just be back and up into that hill. Just a safety thing. This is Zone 6 Japanese maple. It's not one of the most cold hardy ones, and it's in a container. Wait, I'm trying to get to the tag. I'm not going to try and say its name. Zoom in there, all the way. You see it? Oh, it's just dissectum. I can say dissectum. I thought it had some crazy name to it. Never mind. A weeping lace leaf. It's held its red really well in the shade. It is getting sun right now because mimosa hasn't flushed out yet, though it does look like it's finally starting to bud. Look at that, actually budding out earlier. There's some years it doesn't start to bud out until around mid-May, so that's great. It's April and it's already budding out. Should be a good year for that one. But regardless, during the summertime when it's in the shade over here, it keeps this nice red hue, which is great because some Japanese maples won't do that. A lot of them go more green into the shade. I also planted this spring a whole bunch of evergreen. Try to get back here so you can see it. Diosporus. Jacob's ladder is what that is. Look, they got little flowers on them. So I got these as rhizomes, and I split them apart and spread them around. These go about 18, 20 inches high, and they're evergreen. They'll have a neat texture. You can need them to keep growing, though. Should pull this out. Get that out of there. Don't want that shading that too much while it's trying to establish itself. Good shade plant. Really glossy leaves. And they're just getting going. So that's going to be really pretty, I think, coming up just over and in between these hostas that are over here, the Hudson Bay And then the Empress Woo in the back. The Petasites, like I was saying, I try and keep those fairly cleaned out. Sorry, tripped over a rock there. Cleared out by around mid-May and forward. They can grow behind everything and they can grow up the hill, but I try and clear them out from in here. I forgot I had moved that rock. Pyrex is digging all this out. So keep having the rain. This is supposed to collect water to take down to that drain, and I stepped on it. Oops. Haven't seen any signs of any of the acanthus coming up yet, which is a bummer, but sometimes they can take a while to come up. I should come in here and pull a lot of these out, make sure the sun can get down here, because I did have an oak leaf acanthus planted, well, somewhere in here. Don't know where. I should have marked it, put a tag on it. Never did that, though. I don't know. It's in this vicinity somewhere. Hopefully it survived its first winter. I also planted a lot of new stuff up here on this hill, but it's going to be pretty hard to show that to you. This is the only spot where I could put everything where they're just going to get morning sun and afternoon shade. They get a little bit of sun in the afternoon, but not much. There's also screaming children right behind them, so we'll just go talk about something else for now. Time Traveler Hosta. Coming up nice and big this year. Real big. And this is not a big hosta, so I get excited about that. It's not one that offshoots all that quickly. It's like there's just 2 of them, and that's it. And I've had this for several years. It's just a nice chartreuse green hosta with a streak of variegation in the middle. That's it. And there's something about it that I just absolutely love. It's really small, not a quick spreader, which isn't necessarily a good thing. That's why it's very expensive. Not that easy to get a hold of, but I'm always just happy to see that's coming up. I have some chubby hubby hollies here, waiting to be planted up. The panicles, strawberry and cream hydrangeas, they're popping up. Flushed out, looking good. Haven't planted them up yet. It's still a little bit early for that. I'm trying to get some other things done first. Looking to see if there are any of the nice flowers on this hibiscus, but it doesn't look like it. It's a braid. There are apparently 4 different types of hibiscus on there. I bought it because I like the orange flowers, and it also has all these others, which are nice, but not what I bought it for. I did notice just a minute ago that it looks like, I swear I saw, oh yeah, there it is. You see it? Right there. Right above my finger. Hidicium coming up. Flaming torch. Always a good sign. Makes me so happy to see those coming up. The sable miners are over here. They had a rough winter, but they'll push through it. I think they'll be fine. I came in and I heavily limbed up this heptacodium. When I got this plant, it was with the intention of it being open and vase-shaped. So I've had to train it to grow in that fashion, and I think this will be the first year where it's really nice and open. But man, I had to do a lot of work to get that thing anchored in properly, because it's leaning fairly far forward, and it looks like there's some little water shoots, some water sprouts. See that one? I missed that. Need to take that off of there. I'm going to try and keep the trunk nice and open and clean, so you can come in and prune that stuff off and keep it growing upwards. It's finally starting to look like, well, the nice tree that I had been waiting for it to look like. It's so full. Isn't it just full and beautiful? I love the layers on it, and it responds so well to pruning, and I love that because I love pruning on things. It's fun to be able to work with them like that. This container over here, I'm going to sit down while we talk about this so I can take in the fragrance with y'all. Pardon the dog panting. He's right over my shoulder. Turbo, hey. Oh, there, what are you doing? Oh, go on, go play. Go play. You're free. Go on. Yeah, there you go. Go find a toy. Sorry, pardon the distraction. Planted up, I don't know, probably a couple hundred annuals and bulbs in this thing back in March. Have some ranunculus, some stock, lots of different pansies and violas, some of the frizzle sizzles in there, and then a whole bunch of lobularia. I think that it's the bonnet series, not the crystal. And then these are all daffodils. They're called La Bombe or La Bombe. I'm not sure. They have a very interesting flower on them, and they are slow. So slow. It's almost May, and they still haven't opened yet. That's very odd for a daffodil. They've been in this container for, I don't know, a couple months now. Right? I want to say I put them in here probably late February, so maybe not quite 2 months, but it's been close to that. I overwintered these. I chilled the bulbs in a wine fridge, so, and it seemed to work. They're blooming. It's like, don't think there's anything wrong with doing it that way. I'm just surprised with how long it's taken them to wake up. I was hoping they'd be open for the garden tour, but I don't know. You'll be seeing them at some point when they're open. They have a very interesting flower. It's I don't know, like quadruple petaled, and it looks like almost all of them are the inverted petals, the ones that fold backwards. This series of various yellows, apricot kind of tones. It's a weird one, but I do still like it. Oh, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? Oh, nothing. I just need to deadhead. I have not been on top of the deadheading. You can see that with the ranunculus that's over here. I need to do that, and then the stalk I need to get in here and do that as well. But this container, it's just been making me so happy. It smells very, very nice, and there's just so much color. So much color. And it's so cheery and happy. Look at those faces. Little like happy, but also just little sourpuss violas. Very fragrant, the stalk and the lobularia. And the color palette changes as you go around it. Because I bought things in an assortment. I didn't want to spend a lot of time thinking about how they were going to play together. I was just like, no. If you like the color, just buy it and toss them all together. And that's what I did. So there's various shades of pinks and purples. I really like it. And it came out very nicely. It's made things really cheery out here this spring. The gardenias have been good. Also need to be deadheaded though. Just off my game with that. Fuchsia up here. Still looking nice. The heat hasn't come in and destroyed it yet. More of a July thing. This container, look at how wonderfully this one's filled out. Isn't that beautiful? The sky blue pansies with these pink dianthus in the background. This dianthus, I don't remember the name on it, but it has been very good about burying the dead. I have not deadheaded it. It's just going to be the way things are with everything out here this year probably. But it's been great about just sending up new flowers, and you can't even tell. You really can't even tell that it's got old dead flowers down on the inside. And the fragrance is phenomenal. I like the colors here. They're nice and soft, very springy and happy-y. This was a show-off Forsythia planter. I'm not impressed with this thing. I know it was supposed to be really special. Mine bloomed for like 2.5, 3 weeks, and it wasn't the full stem. It just looked like a Forsythia. I'm not nuts about Forsythia because it's just yellow for a few weeks, and then it's just a green shrub, essentially. So I don't know if I'm going to hold on to it or not. That might go somewhere else in the future. But I really have enjoyed the underplanting on this. It had some hyacinths, which are done, some pink hyacinths, and then, ivy, lobularia, pansies, and then there's just like a random head of red leaf lettuce in there for some color. It was a nice spring thing. Moved on from spring, but we still need to talk about all the spring planters because, they're still out here and a lot of them are still looking pretty good. That one looks great. Over here, welcome to the world of things that are yet to be planted. Narrowed this down quite a bit. A goal of mine this year has been to basically, once a plant shows up, to get it planted as soon as possible. Or if I go to a nursery to pick things up, get them in the ground. I don't want things sitting around. There are going to be things sitting around, annuals, that is, because a lot of them are going to be going around the large palms, which won't be delivered for a few more weeks, so they need to sit around. But for the most part, I'm trying to just not even buy a lot of the stuff that I want until it's time to plant them. So, I like to plant up the pool pots when the palms go in there. I'm not going to bother buying the stuff for them until the palms show up. Maybe if I know they're coming a day or two beforehand, I'll do that, but I just don't want things sitting around and just making a mess everywhere. Speaking of mess, this was a disaster. The greenhouse was over here, and it was just, that'll be in, I don't know, it'll either have been in the last video or the video that's coming out after that one. Got this all cleaned up, sprayed it down, power washed it. Greenhouse has been put away. Don't need that anymore. And then there have been a lot of new additions over here into the hill garden. Well, lots of natives and shrubbery, some fun stuff. Look at all the mess, all the stuff that blew over from the power washer. I see some Dicentra coming up, and they have those awesome violas in the back. So that hill garden, or not the hill, what is a hill garden that's on the other side that we didn't look at down over there? I planted two of these. Early girl or early bird. Let's go up. We'll go up there and have a look. I cannot remember if it's early girl or early bird. I'm pretty sure that this series of columbine is called early bird. Yeah, early bird, purple blue. It's more of a compact one, has a nice mounded shape to it, and it has been blooming its head off for the last several weeks. All of them. So I planted 3. There's 1 here and then 2 down in the other spot that doesn't get anywhere near as much sun, which columbines are known to be pretty good with that. And they haven't skipped a beat. They've been great. I'm hoping the violas, which are here and here, they'll just seed themselves around and spread out very nicely. Have a sea oat up here, or a river oat, one of the natives. Popped another sarcopapa over here. I spread those around because I wasn't sure how they would do in the yard. And when I'm not sure about how a plant's going to do, I like to buy multiples and just spread them around. See what sticks. Then move on from there. The manfredas, they're coming up. Manfreda virginica. Love those. They always make me happy. Their agave-like appearance. What, you know, mangave. One of the parents of mangaves. Looks like a penstemon and a salvia that I have no recollection of planting, but that looks like a salvia to me coming up over there. Virginia bluebells, and gosh, there's a Asclepias incarnata back there in the background. That's a new one, another native. Tuberosa type over here, native. Blue Jangles hydrangea, not expecting much from that, but it's coming up. Is it raining? I hear noises, I hear dripping. It's not supposed to rain today. Oh, come on, I wanted to get this done. Okay, well, let's just have an intermission. I have other things I need to do, so let's go ahead and just pot up some ferns. I know, random, but this little drizzle thing should pass in a few minutes, and this is something that was gonna bug me, and I wanna get it done. I picked up both of these a few days ago from local nursery. Some of my favorites, the Blechnum gibbum silver lady ferns. It's a tree fern, little tiny baby tree fern that do not like to dry out. They don't like me. I know that if I don't put these into a self-watering container, basically immediately, they will die. They have to go into a self-watering container. So that's what I have here. I lost the piece that goes into this port right here, the tube that comes up with the, you know, the little dial in it that lets you know how much water you need to put in there. So I need to either cover that up, or maybe I could just fill the bottom with some leca. That could work. No, I don't want to do that. I have the leca right next to me. That's why I was thinking about doing that. But I'm not going to be able to hold as much water down there if that's going on. Oh, also, I always drill a hole in my self-watering containers right about the same level as the dish so that I can keep them outside and not have to worry about them overflowing. Screen will work fine. Just take this piece of screen and put it right there. Maybe I'll do this and jam it into that hole. I just don't want soil going down there into that reservoir. Should probably tape it into place, but the soil should hold it in. Yeah, the soil will keep it where it needs to be. That's the idea anyways. This is the bottom of this bag. Hopefully it doesn't spill everywhere. No, okay. Good. I'm gonna need more than that. Why do I have two bags that are barely full? That's not normal. I must have misplaced one and not realized that I had this one sitting around. Come on out. I'm trying to be so careful. See, when you're at the very bottom of the bag, sometimes it'll just all of a sudden have a downpour, you know, soil that goes everywhere. There we go. That'll do it. Should be plenty. Pat that out. These are already dry too. So they're containers. They're just so small. That's why I wanted to do this now. I picked them up yesterday. Like, you need to get these potted up as soon as possible. Because if you don't, you're going to have to water them constantly. They're not really root wrapped. You can see those roots though. They're ready to just bound, aren't they? Ready to run all over the place. That's great. So these tree ferns, they like things moist. They want an airy mixture. They like a humid environment. Very good if you live in a temperate area. So if you live in the Pacific Northwest, great plants. You have that humidity and the cooler, more mild temperatures. Here in the Midwest or upper South really is what the St. Louis area is. Just got to watch them when it gets really hot outside. Otherwise, pretty easy plants. And I am going to put both of them in here. They can grow together. I think that'll look nice into the future, having both of them with their trunks coming out the same pot. One of them is more curved. The other one has more of a straight angle to it, which I think is going to look neat. This has great shape to it, doesn't it? Nice shape on this one. See how well that comes out. It was a great price too. I thought these are usually a little bit more on the pricey side. You can tickle that, but not really root wrapped. That should be fine. Do I want them to go more like this, or it doesn't really matter. They're going to adjust their growth habit on their own. Nice thing about a trunking plant, right? Yeah, things are kind of open on the inside there, but that's all right. And then I will top dress this with some gravel at some point. Not right now. I don't have any that I think I would like in this container. I have some pea gravel, but I need that to level out the bird bath. Okay, there we go. That was bugging me. And look at this. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Sun came out. Like, right when I finished. Take this guy over here. Don't want to forget to give that a drink, and we can pick up on wherever we were over there with that mess. And you know what I may end up doing with these? Get back to the tour in just a second. I like to try one of the aquapot inserts. That way I can use a more attractive pot. So that's probably going to be pretty temporary in there. Anyways, okay. Back to the hill garden. Also known as my dump garden, because it's where I just sort of dump things that I don't know what else to do with, but I really want to grow. So that's that. A lot of new perennials in the ground. The coralberry flush out nicely. That got planted last year. I don't know what's going to happen with the apples this year. Well, I actually do know. There's going to be some big changes happening over here as far as the apples are concerned. We'll talk about that another time. Have another berry white hydrangea planted up here. Idea here is that that's going to come up here and fill out. Lots of flowers to look at. Be able to see them from all over the patio and add some screening. That macrophylla right here, that is a endless summer, an old one that never blooms. I think we got like 2 flowers out of it last year, but a lot of it survived on the wood last year. So here's hoping I get a bunch of blooms out of it. I have some soil acidifier that I need to dump on it. Well, now, really. I need to do that now, and then probably repeat in about a month so I can make sure the flowers come out a nice purpley blue color. The pH over here, usually between about 6.4, 6.7 is where I get readings. There's areas where there's more compost and less compost, which is technically acidic, but it's not acidic enough to get nice blue blooms on things. Where did I leave off? Asclepias, new. Looks like one of the old native ones is coming back, so that's good. These are all native. Not all the plants are native, but the Asclepias are native. Planted a fun cherry that you can't see anything of just yet because it's still a little baby, but it's a neat variety. It's just a bush. It's a bush cherry. It's supposed to have a decent flavor to it. A lot of bush cherries can be more bitter. This one's supposed to be nice. And there's probably a dozen or so random native meadow plants. When I say native, like native to my area, meadow plants tucked in around everything over here as well. Oh, Sweetheart Caroline Redbud. Or is it Carolina Sweetheart? You know what I mean. Flushing out. I always forget to update on this one. It's done a good amount of growing since it got planted a few years ago. Leaves aren't variegated yet because they're just now opening up. Sergeant Pepper Dogwood. Love it. I need to move it. Why did I put it right here? That's supposed to be like right there. That's too... It's in the front. That's stupid. This area's had a bit of a renovation. We'll talk about that in another video. We'll get to it, I promise. I also added a Gigantosaurus Hosta up here that will fill in that entire space very well, because it's really nice big variegated leaves to look at. It'll draw your eye back there and be very pretty. This guy over here is new, and I don't remember. I don't know. What is that? All in all, I have around 90 new plants. Oh, it's the serviceberry. No, it's not a serviceberry. It's a spice bush. One of the native spice bushes, host-plant to swallowtails, and a lot of other good insects that you want to have around. So I want to make sure to have one of those back there. It'll come up and do its thing. Be very pretty. Another berry white hydrangea right there. So it goes berry white, and then the 2 by the gates down over there. So there'll be some of that down there and some of it over here. That'll help kind of even things out. El Nino Chatapa. Look at it. This lost some of its foliage. We had a random frost a couple weeks ago, and it killed back the foliage that it had budded out, but it has pushed out new foliage, and it's looking nice. Looking great. I've talked about it whenever I have talked about it. I've mentioned that I was nervous about this one because people were mentioning that it's late to come back and that it doesn't do great coming back from the wood. With cold winters, it's going to be more like a butterfly bush that might die down to the ground and then come back from there. But I wanted something that was really going to fill in this entire spot. And I don't want things that flush out late either. So there's a Rose of Sharon over here. That's already something that flushes out late. This thing was popping out in mid-March, which I would not consider to be a late flush out, so that's great. It wasn't a particularly warm spring either, so I'm happy to see that it survived from the wood. Focus on the plant I'm talking about. Survived from the wood, and it didn't take a long time to flush out. The Sergeant Pepper Dogwood, look at the variation on it. And that's sweet. Really pretty plant, but this will go at least 4x4, so it needs to get scooched back into the hill there. They have awesome fall color on them. That's why I got it. The fall color on these is just insane. Then there's going to be some other fun new things going up here. I have a Horstmanndorf Atlas, only about 6 to 8 feet tall. Cedar, that's what that is. Over here I want that blue with that vibrant red twig on that dogwood in the winter time. And then there's gonna be a whole bunch of hostas and things going in up here as well. Almost forgot there are some things over here that I didn't talk about that were very new and very exciting. Back here, it's hidden right now by this pop. This is a Cephalotaxis, a fastigiate type, the yew, right, a Japanese yew, and that's going to form a really nice evergreen, fluffy looking shrub right in this corner. That's going to look so good. I'm so excited about that. Oh, look at the Persephone crinum coming up. I have to come in here, and just a reminder on my phone to do this tomorrow. I have to come in here and take some divisions from this. I talk about it every year. I should have done it probably maybe 2 weeks ago. I have to get that done. Plant's been in the ground for at least a decade. It needs to be divided up. This is new. So is that rake. You like the new rake? It's a great, this is a Firelight Hydrangea. That was, it was tricky getting that planted right here, but I want something that could grow up and look good limbed up. So we keep about the lower, I don't know, 2/3 max, probably not that much of it, but you know, the lower portion of the wood open so that there's lots of airflow and accessibility to all of the things right here, and then have that nice airy texture. I love the Firelight Hydrangeas. I think they're very pretty, they're graceful, they're elegant, they're good flowers, and I just think that this is going to be, it's going to be like hydrangea heaven out here this summer with the berry whites on each side, the strawberry vanillas up there. I also added a quick fire fab up on the hill into juniper that you can't see right now, but I planted an emerald feather juniper up there too. It's going to go 12 by 5, so it'll fill in and have a nice evergreen structure right there. And then the berry whites that are going to be over here. You need color everywhere. Oh, and there's the Limelight Prime standard right there. Did a lot of talking and it wasn't recording. Hate when that happens. No sign of growth out of the passion flower yet. Not that unusual. Camera's doing this fun new thing where it just randomly is turning off. I don't know why. It's probably overheating and just not giving me the signal that it's overheating. What I had said was the passion vine, when I planted it last year, there were a couple things in my mind, which is one, just that I love passion flowers. The other thing was that it may not survive here. This is one of the cerulleas. The maypops are native. The cerulleas, they're more marginally hardy, but as long as you mulch them in their protected spot, they're good into zone 6. But they're so late to reemerge. So this may not even get going for me until June. I don't know if I want to have this space here for something that's not going to get moved until June. So I'm going to give it, you know, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 more weeks. But after that, probably going to pull it out and try something different there. Look at the needle palms. They still have some winter burn on them that just starts showing up about, I don't know, maybe a month ago. And it slowly works its way through and you get to see all the bad things that happen to the plant during the winter time you hadn't noticed before. But they're just great. They're huge. These things got massive this year, or last year, I should say. So big. More new things. Gallium. Oh, you need some water. That you're supposed to be good in the dry shade. Apparently not. This is a heaven scent. Isn't it pretty? I can't smell anything, but here are the stats on it if you want to know. It's a Jacob's Ladder. Really pretty flowers on it. Let me sniff. Oh, stuff. Oh, yeah. That smells like grape, like sugar grape candy of some kind. Needs water. That's new. Those are all new. Calicanthus got this last year, and this is where I decided to put it. And it's really taken its time to do anything. But you can see it's just starting to bud out. Getting some flowers on it, so that's good. I don't know if I'm going to want to keep it here or not. But that's where it is for right now. Lots of new stuff over here. Have a Roseanne geranium, not doing anything yet. Planted a gallium up top, an ostrich fern, just because I accidentally dug it up when I was doing something elsewhere, so I just plopped it in the ground over here because there are already some ostrich ferns in this area. These are painted, no, My Fair Lady, right? Yeah, My Fair Lady hostas. Got these from Plant Delights. And they're starting to do their thing. This is all new this year. Pretty much everything I've been talking about is new this year. The sedum right here is a native sedum with some wild strawberries growing around it. I assume there's no sign of life yet from the voodoo lilies. No, it's too early. I don't usually see anything out of those until June. The Edith Bogue, K. Paris magnolia. Look, getting some buds on it. I think this might actually flower this year. Not sure. This was just a stick when I got it a few years ago. Oh yeah, just a little stick. This is all the growth that it's done in here. The plan being that this maple tree is too close to the house, it's going to have to go sooner than later, and I wanted to have something in its place, basically, that wasn't going to get as big. So the Cape Paris should go about 20 feet tall. in this area, maybe 25 feet. What was that? Did you just kick something at me or did something run at me? I think it was a toad. Startled me. Another geranium down here. Blue? I don't remember. Oh, there's also a Veronica in here somewhere that's no tidal pool. Really pretty blue flowers. That hasn't done anything yet. All the Hakanakloa did, well, it did, not all of it, but 4 out of the 5 did really well from last year. Planted these last fall or late summer. One in the middle's on the struggle bus, but it's doing its thing. It's coming back. And then the third of the Sarcocoppas is right here. This bird bath, you may notice that it's in shambles right now. That's because I am going to pick it up and move it more towards right around here. Like kind of right in that area. That's where I want the bird bath to go. I need to re-level it. And that's what I need the pea gravel for too. So I want to lay out a base for it that's nice and steady because it's been leaning and stuff. You can't really see it from right there, and it's just, oh, it feels weird having it in the front of the garden bed. This wasn't a garden bed until last year. This was just a lawn with a bird bath in it and a limelight prime that I forgot to talk about that was planted last year. There it is. Not doing anything yet, but it's green, and that's always great. Hopefully that'll put on. I'm hoping to get at least a foot of growth out of it, because if I do that, then that will completely screen out the neighbor's house. I love the neighbors. They're great, but we don't need to see each other all the time, you know? Here's hoping the limelight prime doesn't get as big. You need to stop. We've been talking about this. You're just running through the bed. Get out of the garden bed. That's a thankless effort. He's never going to learn that one. They don't get huge, and this already has a good amount of stem on it, and it's on a 24-inch graft, or standard. I should have gotten one on a 3-foot standard. I don't know why I didn't, but I would assume that I should be able to get at least another couple of feet out of the entire thing, and that's going to be a really nice rounded habit to it. I'm not going to prune on this. It's already nice and full. I know you're supposed to take your hydrangeas down by, you know, 1/3 to 2/3, depending on how much branching you're trying to get to come out of them. 2/3 being the absolute max. Only do that if you only have a few twigs on them, right? But a lot of the times you don't get a lot of growth out of them because you're cutting them back so much every year. This one's got lots of stems. I'm going to leave it alone for a few years and just let it get nice and big, and then I'll do some chopping to thicken out whatever it has produced. The ginger, no, I don't know. Didn't see anything out of it this spring. It should be up by now. Same thing with the May apples. Haven't seen any of them. The Rhode was green all winter long. It's dusty or has spider mites. I'm not sure. I don't usually deal with spider mites in the garden, so I'm going to assume that that's dust. I think that's just dusty. Yeah, there was a too tall May apple right here. Then another one that was very expensive over here. And yeah, I don't know if they didn't, nothing. They should be up by now. So I guess they just weren't happy in the spot, or they got planted too late. I'm not sure, but I have more of this one in the mail because it's one that I love and I want in the garden. I'm going to spread them around just like I do with the Sarcocoppas. Spread them around till you find their sweet spot. This guy, the baby grand magnolia, I think it just looks like garbage because, well, a lot of that's its old winter foliage too, right? So it's going to shed that off and hopefully put on some new growth. It just got put in the ground, I don't know, a month ago. So I think this will be a good spot for it. I put it in between both of these palms here because they get protected when it's below about 5. They can go colder than that, but they are so slow to grow that it doesn't seem worth it to me to let them take the cold and have a ton of winter die off. So I just wrap them up, which means that this is a nice protected spot for the baby grand magnolia. They only go, I think, 8-10 feet max in height, so I thought that'd be a nice plant to have up above everything. The flowers would be nice, and a fairly protected spot. Is that everything? I know that was a lot. I was probably talking quickly. Some of the stuff we didn't get close-ups on because you won't really be able to see it anyways. They're behind other plants over there. But, oh, and the bull sedge. Planted a whole bunch of really pretty sedge back here. Oh, green stock. There it is. Green stocking. Yes, I have an extra layer on it. So I planted up strawberries. Wasn't ready to plant up the rest of the blue one yet. Here's a kind of a look at what's going on in here. As good as that's going to get. You can see the violas. You can see the early bird columbine's back there, and the sedge grass is, well, it's back there. Oh, Buckeye. Look at it. Look at it in all of its glory. Love this tree. Hadn't been able to see many flowers on that over the last few years because it was shaded by the neighbors' trees. They cut their trees down to put in the pool. And now it's just, well, it's just glowing. It's so happy. It looks great. Hey, that was fun. I think that's going to do it too. It was kind of rapid fire and erratic, but That's just kind of the time of year. Need to get it out and done quickly on a day where things weren't too bright and sharp on the eyes. He'd be such a good boy. It's been a very good spring. The most productive spring I think I've probably ever had. I mean, last year was pretty productive. We had to gut the entire patio to repave it and everything, but this was different. It's just a nice feeling getting trees and shrubs and perennials in the ground. That's something I like to knock out in the spring as long as I can remember to do that. And then as of now, get to play with the annuals and the tropicals moving forward. And I'll still be doing stuff with perennials and shrubbery. I still have a couple of viburnums that need to go in the ground. I still have some hostas coming, and there's still more going on, but the bulk of it is done. You get them in the ground early spring as soon as the ground thaws, and they just take off. It's a great way to do it and get things done, and just appreciate them now for the rest of the season. I don't have a count. I wanted to take account of all the stuff that I planted this year, but I never got around to it. Should I do that? It was a lot. 45. Around 45 to 50. I already forgot. I went ahead and I made a quick spreadsheet, and it was between 45 and 50 new plants and a total of between 80 and 100 perennials, shrubs into the ground, whether it's ground covers or bushes, trees. Counted it all, and it was, I think it totaled about 80, but I didn't count everything. I didn't count every little thing that I plugged in, but I have a total on them, but I don't know, you get it. And there's still about a dozen, maybe 18 things that are left to plant that haven't shown up yet. So I would say that it's been a very, very, very productive spring that's really going to pay off this summer and more so next spring, right? That's what it's about, is getting things ready for next year. So you can look around where all the tropicals are out here and go, oh yeah, that's what's missing. Plants. And now you can go ahead and get to the exciting stuff. I mean, I think that the perennials and the shrubs are all very exciting, but you know, it takes them some time to really do anything. That's why it's so great to get them in the very, very, very early spring, so they have all season to start to set their roots out and maybe do some growing. They usually do a little bit. You know, it's not usually till the second or third year that you get a lot out of the perennials, depending on what it is. Yeah, it's been great. Very nice spring. Weather's been good. We've had rain. Only had like one expected frost. That was around early April. It's not too bad. It's looking like we're going to move into May with some decent weather temperature-wise. Maybe jumped on it a bit soon, moving the tropicals out. I usually like to see the forecast moving up to around Mother's Day, because sometimes we still have random cold spells at the beginning of May where we could like have a freeze. You know, might hit the upper 20s. It's happened before. But it's not very frequent, and the ground should be warm enough at this point that if that does happen, I can lay things down, put a frost cloth over them. They'll be fine. And the coconuts and heliconias, those things, those will go inside. But yeah, it should be good to have these out by now. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Hope everybody's doing well, having a great day, great life, and everything's just going absolutely beautifully for you. Comment down below, say hi, what's going on in your gardens, if you had a good spring. Some fun shrubs and perennials that you may be planting this year or hope to come by this year. There's a lot. I had a lot on my list. I checked most of them off. Good spring for that. Got a lot of things checked off that I've wanted to do out here and get planted. All right, as always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye-bye. You can see the fish. That's a much better shot. That water looks so much clearer when the camera's actually submerged, doesn't it? They're hiding. I don't think they like this guy. Can't stay out of the way. Where you going, bud? Come back. This is kind of fun. Alright, I'm going to have to get the GoPro out and stick that in here. It's going to be a good time.